So here's the program to create two ALVs, one at the top, one at the bottom. I'm using, these are my local classes, but I don't really want to define them up here, so I'm putting them as deferred. You'll see the tables that I use to create it. And there's a container. And then you'll see some of the split stuff going on. I've got grids, and I've also got the splitters. And here's where I handle the double click. And this is the implementation. Okay, so at the start of selection, it's going to collect up our data. Our data is our local data. You can see the methods is film Mara, because that's where we're getting our data, and film Mara is here. So you'll notice that I'm just grabbing some records from Mara and displaying them on the screen. That's the idea behind this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in debug so you can see what it's doing. This is the first step of the program, and that's to get the data. So it goes and grabs the data, and you can see I'm just pulling the data that I created, so you're not getting any of our real records. And then once I'm done filling the table, I call up the screen 100. Of course, my normal set status and set title bar. Now what I want to do is set up some objects on that screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is create the actual container. And then this is SAP code. Okay, so after I set up the container, I'm going to split it out. And the first one is going to be getting the container, and the top one is the parent. The bottom one, it's saying split out my top one, the parent, into the first part, which is part 1. Then it's saying, again, split out my top one into part 2. So we've got 2 things going on there. And so now simply displaying the ALV. So it's going to create the grid object and then an event for a double click. And then because I want that split, I went ahead and that's grid 1. And there we go. Because I want the second field showing, I do grid 2 even though nothing's on it. And there you can see I've got 3 materials, completely fictional materials. I double click, and then I go back into my program for control, SAP. We're going through the SAP code, but what we're going to is handle the double click. So here's my method. It's a local one. It's handle double click. So it reads the table based on the row, and then based upon the data it retrieves, it uses the description. Mine is real simple, just so we can look at it. And then we're setting the grid table 2 for first display, because there hasn't been a display for it yet. And there we have it. We've got the top screen with our information. The bottom screen shows the description. Now this is really nice, so they don't have to go page to page. Especially if you change it and also make it so they can edit it, that's even cooler. So you could double click on this, go down to the second screen, and maybe there's something here that you want to edit, like material description. And so you could open that and save and use some more objects to do that. Now, the only thing that you didn't get to see that you're going to get to see now is this screen. It's really simple. The screen layout looks like this. All this is like a container. So I called it container 1. That's my parent container. That's it. Just one great big huge container. That's what my screen looks like. Now, I did put a GUI status for this so we can get out of it. And it's again a really simple one. Back, exit, or cancel. And that's all it takes to make 2 ALVs on one screen. One that will react and the other one that will show things. And that will make it really easy for people instead of flipping from screen to screen.